Hi everyone, welcome to Virtual Soccer. Today we're going to address two problems with the Washington Spirit. Two minor problems, but something they need to address before the playoffs. And the number one being, I think the Audi Field is not the home fortress it should be for this team. Not with the atmosphere that's created by the fans there, which is just unbelievable. Okay, shout out to all the fans that make it to Audi all the time. It looks so good on TV this weekend. It was incredible. It was the Pride game day, and you could see that in the crowd. It looks like everyone was having a good time pre-game as well. But as we know, their home record has not been great this year for a team of this quality and for the atmosphere of this quality. But to be fair, it's 1 loss in 10, and yesterday was not a loss, although it kind of feels like it when you draw a team that's only had 1 win all year. Granted, they've had a lot of losses. But let's look at some of the positives, okay? Possession was even, passing accuracy was even, but corner kicks, that was something that they should have capitalized a bit on a little more, because corners were 11-4, crosses were 25-11. So you see, more crossing attempts than they've been getting recently, which is good, but somebody needs to get on the end of that. Some of the runs are not where they're supposed to be, or maybe the communication is the crosses are not going where they should along the way. But 11 corner kicks against a team like Chicago, I would expect to have better opportunities on goal from that. But that's an overall stat they need to work on going into the playoffs, period, okay? So, again, not a horrible game, but a horrible result. It was not bad to watch, but it's kind of infuriating as a fan, on one hand, to see a draw for a team that you feel like they should beat 4-5-0 with this kind of roster going. But, okay, so let's look at the other thing that we have a problem with Washington Spirit. Their balance and cover and defense is at times absolutely static and atrocious. And I say that with all due respect because it's easily fixable. And I think it's more a matter of communication on the field from the players than anything that the staff can do. I'm sure the staff looks at film and is like, how do we get sucked out like this and not have some cover? So what you see is, let's say the high press is broken, okay, which is happening very often because the high press is kind of slow and lazy, so to speak. So they're falling back into their mid-block or high-low block, and what's happening is a player will step out to pressure the ball, and they vacate a space, and the cover doesn't happen. So balance is now broken. And then one pass will beat 4 midfielders, and they try to regroup in pursuit, but they're not regrouping correctly either. They're not falling back to a position where you can regain the balance and cover. The second pass will beat 2 more players till all of a sudden you're 1v1 with Mikion versus Ludmilla, and the ball's in the back of the net. Okay? So that has to be solved with communication on the field amongst the players. You can have one player barking orders, or they can have a team awareness where everyone's aware and everyone talks. Your head's on a swivel, and if somebody steps out, you're giving orders to your teammate. Okay, so what they have to do is be willing to not only do their job of balance and cover, but give instruction to a teammate to help fill that balance. Okay, I mean that gap that created the imbalance, right? So then after that, when they do win the ball, they are also creating pressure on themselves again because they are so slow and a little bit lazy, okay? And the laziness, you know what? It doesn't come because they're bad players. It comes because they're very good players. And what happens is a sort of, unknown mental arrogance because they can make and do so much with the talent they have. They're not quite fulfilling the basic level of the job they need to do, which is, let's say they win the ball. Mikion now has the ball in the center of defense there. The 2 outside backs are not showing back quickly enough and creating enough space. And it's just a chain reaction around. Everyone is a little bit slow to react and set up to show for the ball. So the first pass goes just a little bit slow, and then it's passed back, and they cycle it over to the right side, and it's just a little bit slow. And now that third pass going forward, again, you've already lost 2 to 3 seconds from being sloppy and slow, is now under way more pressure than it should be, because we all know time equals space. And without space, you find it very hard to get forward in numbers, break their little blocks that's happening. And it's weird, though, because another great point, though, is Washington had 14 shots from in the penalty area, but only 4 reached on target. And yet the stats credited Chicago with 0 blocks, and that's not true. But they did have a lot of interceptions, but I know I at least saw 2 shots get blocked. And even 1, I believe, on the goal, on the build-up on that. So, again, these are small things. For a team of this talent, they should not be having cover blown all the time, right? I don't know who could fill in as the general. Maybe Hirschfeld. I'd like to see what you guys think about this. I'd like to see what you think about what I'm saying about the balance and cover, too, because I did have a couple discussions on social media with a few people, And I think we're all seeing the same things for the most part. I would give up the high press and just use a forward, like I said, to pursue and try to pressure into channels on the sideline where you can get a trap. But otherwise, just fall off and form your defensive position wherever you want. If you want to start with mid blocks or even just drop off. Because a lot of these teams, I'm watching the outside backs, if they just drop off, they're coughing up the ball on their first pass without any pressure. And so the Spirit, improve the balance and cover, okay? And improve your home performance, or not performance, your result. And I think they're going to be golden for the playoffs. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe. I do promise you these videos are going to get better as I get my studio set up so I can actually put some graphics in the middle of these videos instead of just rambling on and on. But thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk to you about something really fast if you've made it through the video, and we could use some help. In July of 2024, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 leiomyosarcoma, and she had a tumor the size of an adult brain in her abdomen. Thanks to the Shar Institute in Virginia and Johns Hopkins, she is still here today, and we have some hope. 3 weeks ago, they took the tumor out along with her right kidney, and she's recovering remarkably well. And she's going to be, it had spread to her liver, so she's going to be still doing treatments on her liver and doing treatments going forward. There's no cure for what she has, but at this moment, we have hope, and she has an open-ended life. There's no finite dates of this. They've done a phenomenal job, and lucky for us, she has responded very well to the chemo treatments over the last year and everything that happens. And unfortunately, not everyone gets that lucky after such an unlucky break. But I have worked hard to keep our business afloat, and that was dumb of me. I was raised to pay my debts, and I tried to keep people employed, but I should have just closed her business down last year. It had been a real drain on us, and I should have kept that money. We've managed to survive through some help from friends, families, and even some strangers. And at this point, I'm close to getting another job. Some of you may have seen the other videos. I'm trying to go back into professional coaching, but we do need some help. Wells Fargo kind of tricked me last year with this home preservation program, and basically to get our mortgage out of hock, I have to come up with more money than I intended to, just so they'll modify the loan. So there's some links below for our GoFundMe and other ways you can help by purchasing gear as we wind down our business, especially like MLS hats and US soccer hats. That could be a big help too. Spread the word. You could like and subscribe to the main channel videos as much as possible. I'm not really trying to become a YouTube creator. I'm really trying to go back into professional coaching. But in the meantime, I'm going to have some fun, or as much as we can, while we deal with our lives. So thank you for stopping by, and thank you for helping if you can. All right. Have a great day.